I'm here to talk about working with zip files. When you download everything for the class from the book or copy from the network, you will have a bunch of folders in here, or I should say zip folders here. You won't have some of them because they're not appropriate here, but I'm going to go into this one here, the EO1 data files. You double click on it, it shows the files that you need. If I were to open one of these up at this point, such as let's say ticket sales, it says read only, you can't modify it. So let's say I did a couple of modifications here. I'm just doing something very quick with like a merge and center. Use the format painter, go down here. So let's say I modified the file. You can't save it in that folder. You could have copied and pasted into another folder before, or if I do file, and if I go into save, it says it's read only. I say okay. I had to find another folder here. So it says copy of, and if you're doing folders here, it occasionally says to give it a certain name, like highlight that, and then they often want you to say last first name. And what you have to do, you've got to put it in the correct folder. A lot of people don't know where they put it, which is not good. I'm going to click on browse. So what we want to do is define the folder here. And you can scroll here. If you have your desktop, you've got your documents folder here, but if I have a folder here, I'm going to go into, let me just collapse this thing here, scroll down a bit, and I have a bunch of folders here. This is a USB here, card adapter. You've got to know where you're putting things. You have to look carefully. Too often we don't look correctly. So I'm going to go to this Kingston here. But let's say I'm doing homework here. I want to put it in the Excel folder. I can click inside here, new folder, and I'll just type in. Now what it's doing, I'll call it Excel homework. Hit the enter key again. Now what it did not put the correct name in here. I have last first here. This is going into the OneDrive. If you have an Outlook Hotmail account, you can save things here, but I want to put it on this drive here. So I'm just going to delete this stuff here at the beginning. And I could delete that extension there because it's saving it as the extension down here. So I'll just say last first. I click on the save. So I've got the modified file. It shows the name of the file. Another way to deal with this here, if I'm going to go into here, I've got a bunch of folders showing here. Let's say I've got that here. This is something else. I don't want that one. I go over here. Now let's say I want to put the math one here. I'm copying it. I could right click on here, copy, go into the other folder here, my Kingston, go into my homework, right click here, or I could do a control V Victor paste. And then if I go into here, if it's read only, I'm going to right click inside here. I left click on properties. And it's not read only, but you can do the renaming here. And another couple of quick tips here. If you're going to rename it, you want to call it that. You don't leave it all highlighted. Otherwise, if you go over here, you type in last first, wait a minute, everything's gone. I'm going to hit the cancel. I'm going to right click, go into properties. You got to look carefully. You click before the dot, because if you lose that dot XLSX, you might not be able to open it. Last first. So now you have that file there. If this is checked off, you have to uncheck it. Otherwise, you cannot modify it. So if I go into here, this math project here, and if I'm doing it, it has the spreadsheet to work on. So when you're doing this stuff with this file management, make sure you're naming files correctly and make sure you're going into the correct location. And most of all, make sure you're saving in the right location so you don't have 800 files showing up on your flash drive.